Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller. I have a nice little hot cup of tea. I've been leaning into the hot beverages. I just think it's such a cozy thing to do. It also helps romanticize your life a little bit. In here, I have hot water from my Breville Bambino. And then because it has the milk frother wand, the hot water element, so nice. I hate boiling water over the stovetop. It takes so long. I end up forgetting about it, and then the water all boils out, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot about that. Microwave, listen, your mug will get super hot and the liquid inside is not even room temp. So I really like the little milk frother situation. Putting the hot water into the mug, and then I do a little bit of honey. And right now I've been doing a chamomile and lavender tea blend. I think it's from Bigelow Tea. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I just picked it up. It looked super cute. Smelled good. I love smelling the boxes to see if I can get a scent. That's kind of weird, but that's what I've been drinking when I really want a coffee, but I shouldn't have a coffee because, I've already had my caffeine intake for the day or whatever. But because of the shorter days, I've been trying really hard to get my circadian rhythm on par, making sure that I am waking up. And I've done a lot of work in the last month or two, ever since daylight savings time started, which I guess was that in November, maybe September, November, December. Yeah, maybe September. I forget when I think it was in September. But I've been trying so hard to, one, make it work to my advantage where I didn't actually gain an hour of sleep. I wanted to keep consistent of losing an hour of sleep because I really want to be naturally able to wake up, not necessarily with my alarm. And I have noticed it in the past 3 weeks, like clockwork. I am waking up 5, 6, 10 minutes before my alarm. That has been such a game changer. And sometimes because I don't want to be on my phone first thing in the morning, I'll reach for my phone to check what time it is. And usually it's happened more than once. My phone will start buzzing with my alarm as I reach for it. So I do think I am being successful in training my body to wake up when it's needed and to also go to sleep without freaking out, because there's been so many times in the past where I have tried to get to sleep and I'm spiraling and I am scrolling and I don't get to bed until 1 or 2 o'clock, right? That's not how I want to be. So I am limiting caffeine intake when my alarm goes off. It's been going off at 5:55, and that gives me time to snooze it for 5 minutes. I need to get up by 6. That's kind of the trajectory that I've been wanting, especially because I was very consistent waking up at 7 during the summertime, and then ultimately, my body should feel it's the same waking up at 6, because technically it's 7 with daylight savings time. But the lack of light outside is honestly so sad. I get off work at 5 o'clock, and then I will head straight to the yoga studio to teach my class on Mondays. And in the past, it's been sunny out. Now it's getting dark at 5. It is almost pitch black. By the time I get to the studio, I turn on the lights as low as possible, because I feel anybody who just had a tough Monday and is coming to a yoga class, they want to relax. They want to come hang out, right? And then I'm driving home. It is ridiculous. And it takes me back to the days where I wasn't working from home. I would go into the office and you literally wake up and it's dark out. Then you go to work and you're in fluorescent lights all dang day, and you come home and it's already dark out. That is so troublesome in itself, but I'm home all the time. So if I don't differentiate my day, if I don't have a routine, if I don't have something put in place where it's all right, this is our morning, this is our lunchtime, this is our dinner, whatever, it can feel like a blur. And the actual amount of sunlight that one is getting is so low if you're inside all the time. I wish when we built our house, we would have directed it like to the sunlight, which I know like a lot of people don't want sunlight streaming into their bedroom when they wake up. They want to keep it like dark and dusty and all the things. But for me, I would love to have the sunlight streaming into my bedroom to help like wake me up. And although it's like wouldn't work in the wintertime because it really doesn't get bright out until like 6:45, 7:15 situation. I do like the idea of sunlight waking me up, but I've been trying very hard to just make sure that when I'm supposed to be up and rolling around that it's natural and it's not supplementation, because I've been experiencing like a little bit of a crash during like mid-morning, especially around 2-3 o'clock. And I've done some research and they discuss like your crash at 2 or 3 just means that you're actually like low on energy levels because of like the food, and so you need to like have a small little snack. So I've been trying to do that, and also not eating too much where my supper time is spoiled. But I really, you would know my addiction right now. It is the True Fruit fruit bars. These are like crack to me, okay? And because they're fruit, and I know they're dried fruit, so it's very nutrient dense in comparison to if you ate an apple, right? Because there's water and it takes up more room in your stomach or whatever. But I love these. I've been really trying not to do any refined sugar and eliminating any of those like snacking habits of whatever snacks, right? So I've been grabbing these True Fruit bars. I get the mini ones from Costco. The multi-pack that I have is blueberry, mango, and strawberry. Strawberry is my top favorite. Mango is in the middle. And actually blueberry is my least favorite, but I love them all so much. I will snack on those constantly. Listen, I have at least 3 every single day. And at 60 calories a pop, like not very bad. Or not even that it's bad. Like you shouldn't gauge your food good or bad, whatever. Trying to work on that as well, obviously. But for the caloric intake, like it's not that big of a caloric uptick, if you will. Anyways, I love them so much and I snack on them constantly. Like I said, at least 3 a day. And I rotate like strawberry, mango, blueberry. I don't play favorites, okay? Because we have got to make sure that we're not leaving just like a flavor in the bag. That's one of honestly like my biggest pet peeves is when you have a snack, maybe it's popcorn or Skittles, or not Skittles probably, but any sort of variety pack, and people eat all of the good ones and then they leave the ones that they don't like as much in the package. That absolutely irritates me. Like, don't you think everybody wants the like best flavor in the pack? Maybe like the popcorners, those are so good. They're little like popped chips, and I love the apple flavored ones the best, but I'm not going to eat all the apple flavored and leave the like regular salt or sour cream or something like that, whatever. I'm not going to be leaving just one of them so that Garrett can eat them. Like, it's one thing if the people in your household like the ones that you don't like, but in all honesty, like you have to have some sort of discipline, okay? Like, eat the bad flavors just as much as you want to eat the good flavors. And so I stack them. Like, okay, we're going to have strawberry, we're going to have mango, we're going to have blueberry, right? And sometimes I'll swap it up. I'm usually not eating them all 3 at once, but sometimes I am. But I've been loving them. So around like 2 or 3 o'clock, I've been snacking on a little True Fruit, and I've also been going through pears and grapefruit like crazy. We just got a package from my little brother. He just had his FFA sales. So they sell like meats and cheeses, holiday boxes full of fruit. And honestly, I forgot that we had ordered them, but we got this big box of grapefruit. Garrett got some meat. And what's really nice about our local FFA chapter is they work in conjunction with a small business in the town that I live in. So they were able to like get, the meat products from there. And we really like that, store. So Garrett got a bunch of like links and a jerky, I want to say. I don't know. But a variety of things. And we also got a big container of grapefruit. These are my absolute favorite. Grapefruit is always like a winter fruit. It takes me back to high school. Like I would take grapefruit to school every single day as a snack. I love grapefruit so much. And the best way to eat pears and grapefruits, like I used to do this as a kid, and it's I don't know. I love eating a pear or a grapefruit in the shower. And let me tell you why. Because when you are in the shower, you do not care if the pear juice is dripping down your chin. You do not care if you have grapefruit like juice, like whatever. It is such a messy fruit, especially when the pear is like perfectly ripe and you just bite into it. You know what I'm saying? It is so gross. And I love being in the shower to be able to like immediately rinse my face off. And so that's niche. That's something about me. But we have been eating a lot of grapefruit, a lot of pears. I picked up some pears that were in season. So juicy, so good. So that's what's going on in my pantry. Okay, like a lot of snacks, a lot of things. Our home, I will say, has been picked up from the Christmas like disaster. So we pulled out like some of the Christmas totes last week and we were putting it all up. And I will say it took me a long time to get ornaments on the tree. Like just the mental pain of like getting all the ornaments out, and it took me so long last year to wrap all the ornaments up and put them away. We upgraded our little boxes. We used to just have like an old it was like for a present box, right? Like one of those cardboard boxes that are reusable, but they're for Christmas presents. We had originally stored all of the ornaments in there, but last year I upgraded and I got a plastic container that has dividers in it. It's really, really nice, sturdy. I'm not worried about the ornaments breaking, and I just did not want to unwrap all of the ornaments. There's glass ornaments. There is these little metal trucks and tractors and cars that Garrett had from his childhood. We have, of course, like our yearly ornaments, and finally got all of those up, finally got the house cleaned. It took me forever this past weekend just to like get it all done, get it all together. I feel like it is a never ending pile of laundry, pile of dishes, right? And when you have extra stuff in the house because of the holidays, like you have your extra decor, you have your presents out, and you're shopping more, and then there's bags, and there's like just so much in the house. It makes me go nutty, and having to pick it up and organize and do all of the extra stuff on your typical chores can be such a mental load. And I'm glad that we finally got all of that taken care of. And it was such a relief. Like this Sunday, I just sat on the couch and I was like, whew, like we have nothing to do. There is no plans on the calendar. I wanted last Sunday to be like that, but it just didn't work out that way. So it was really nice to be able to rot on the couch. I've not been able to rot in so long. And I watched some Christmas movies, which is always so fun. I watched Arnold Schwarzenegger's Christmas movie. What is it called though? It's like Jingle. Oh, I don't know. It's about an action figure, and I remember watching it as a kid. And like memories started to come back as I like watched it again. But ultimately the dad needs to find a Christmas present on it's like Christmas Day, and he's like trying to find it, trying to locate it. But it is such a cute movie. Oh my gosh. I absolutely loved it. And then Garrett and I also watched another Christmas movie. It has, like this is, I'm not doing very good on like remembering. It's called like The Nutcracker, and it was about four little boys who lost their parents, and I thought it was like going to be a funny Christmas movie because of the main actor who was in it, and now I can't even think of his name. But I thought it was going to be like a funny Christmas movie, and it was very sad, and it had like really good parts. I will say it was like slow starting, and because I thought it was funny, I was like, okay, when's the humor coming in? Like, this is not the first time that I have misread or misjudged a movie, that's for sure. But as we were watching it, I was like, oh, this it's kind of cute. But there's four boys, and they were like homeschooled kids on the farm, kind of like wild child. They all had long hair, and that was like a point in the story because I'm not going to spoil it. It was very cute, very slow, but it was called like the Nutcracker, the Mustache Nutcracker. You'll be able to find it on Netflix. It's brand new. And you know what? I did enjoy it. I definitely wouldn't rank it on the Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie. Like, they're definitely in two different categories, but it was very heartfelt. It was very sweet. And as we were watching it, I was like, Garrett, like, can you imagine like having children just like running rampant through the house like that? Like, it was seriously crazy. They had chickens in the home. They had two pigs. I was like, can you imagine having pigs in the house? Like, when we lived with my dad before we moved into this house, we had pigs outside, but sometimes on occasion for our cows, if they had a calf like in the bad weather, because in Missouri, like February, March can sometimes be cold, and we can get like some negative temperatures, and if you're calving like spring calves, that is like right in the same time. So we would have like a calf inside every once in a while to warm it up, to give it like a bottle and things, but it was kind of closed off. Like, it did not have free range in the home. And these piglets or pigs, they were potbelly pigs, were like roaming in the house. I was like, can you imagine? And then the kids were just like running wild. There was no order. I will say it did make me feel a lot better about my home, because I feel like sometimes I'm just so overwhelmed by like the stacks of stuff and like having laundry to do, and then our Christmas stuff, and the dogs, like the dogs have toys, they have blankets. I swear this month has been the worst month for bedding. Like, Rowdy, I don't know what it was, but she chewed up not one but three beds this past month. That is absolutely heinous, like straight to jail. And she has also chewed up one of her blankets. I don't know. Sometimes she just has an oral fixation. I don't know if it's because it's been colder and she hasn't been out. Well, like coldy and muddy. Like, it is not have been like good weather for the dogs to be outside for an extended period of time, because their feet get cold. Okay. And when there was snow and then it melted, it was just disgusting out. And I don't know if it was like because of that. I felt really bad for her, but not that bad, because if she chews up her bed, like, she's not going to get a bed. I gave her a blanket. I was like, that's all you get. And then she chewed up the blanket, and I was like, Garrett, one more chance. But, she did get, we had to get like a new bed for the both of them, and blankets, of course, but they're around. Okay. And Rowdy will like pick up a blanket and take it into the other room. Like, she will move her bedding where she wants. So I have that to pick up. And watching the movie, it was just like, okay, like, it's all right to have a messy house. Like, it'll probably get messy in the future. Like, it's not going to be clean all the time, and that's okay. But seeing the amount of clutter, seeing the like messiness of them in comparison to like us, like, it made me realize how lucky I was. I was like, oh, our house is not that bad. Like, it truly is. It's fine in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, it is just a work in progress, if you will. I realize a messy house is not the end of the world, but it can be super overwhelming, especially around the holidays. So if you are in the same boat, like, I feel you. I am with you. Like, the house, ooh, I'm so glad it's all picked up and clean. But speaking of our tree getting completely decorated, I will say it's not as cute as last year. All the same ornaments. I feel like my arrangement was not as good. I did not have the care, right? Like, I truly, like, I really didn't even want to get them out in the first place, because it will be such a short time. And I have this like little issue. I don't know. I think I want it all like put away before we leave for Chicago, or at least like the meticulous things that have to be wrapped. But then I also don't want to get overwhelmed like trying to finish that up if we are also packing and leaving. Can't forget like my bridesmaid's dress, can't forget our shoes or our toiletries or like any of the things, right? So we'll see. I've been working on a list, but our tree looks fine. It's subpar. We still have yet to find a Christmas tree topper. We have nothing at the top. I have bows on it. It's okay. But we needed to take a Christmas card. Here's the thing. I feel like we've been doing really good. We have like most everything together. It's a busy season. And one thing that I forgot about was Christmas cards. Totally slipped my mind. Last weekend we were over at Garrett's grandparents' house, and his aunt mentioned, she was like, "Oh, are you guys doing a Christmas card? We were just talking about your last year Christmas card," because Rooster and Rowdy looked psychotic in them. And I was like, "Yeah, we need to do those, don't we?" And this past week, once we finally got the ornaments on the tree, I was like, "Okay, like we need to take our Christmas card photo." Last year we did it outside, but this year it's cold. Also, an unfortunate series of events. Rowdy is currently on her heat. So that is a mess on its own, right? Rooster is an intact male. So he is all over it. And we are not wanting puppies. We have successfully avoided this for the past 3 years. We just keep them separated. But it is like crack cocaine for Rooster. Okay. He does not listen. He is psycho. He is prancing around. If you've ever seen like a male dog around a dog in heat, like it is crazy the way that they act. And I'm like, oh my gosh, chill out. And Rowdy is not about it. Like she really doesn't want anything to do with Rooster. She will nip and bite at him. But it is horrible. So we sat down to take our Christmas photo. And of course, Rooster wants all over Rowdy. He's getting way too excited, like prancing around, jumping. And we tried to take a Christmas photo about a month ago, and it was the same thing. We had tried to do it outside. I put like a quilt on the ground sitting, but then the dogs saw the squirrels, so they're running all over trying to catch the squirrels, and it was not set. So I had my little G7X all set up. I had my phone, and I was going to be clicking to have the photos take as we were hanging out there. And Rowdy, did not want to sit. She didn't want really anything to do with her backside. And so I was like trying to have her sit. But then Rooster is like acting like a psychotic dog, jumping all around. We ended up getting 2 almost good photos. And we ended up going with the very first one that we deemed good enough because it didn't look super like blurry because they're like moving around. Some parts of it was hard for the camera to focus because the Christmas tree is lit up in the background. And then we also have moving dogs. So we're trying to get them to pose, look at the camera, right? Garrett and I also to look semi-nice, smile at the camera. And at this point in time, Rooster is in both of Garrett's arms. Like he is kind of cradling him and he is in action, but his mouth is open, Rooster's, and he looks like he's smiling. Rowdy is very stoic looking at the camera, but it's good enough. And I have just had to realize that this holiday season is not going to be like the other holiday seasons. Things are not perfect, and I'm trying to be okay with that. Last year I had more control over my routine and the things that I was doing. This year we have a whole lot more going on, just with my volunteering with, I wasn't teaching yoga class last year. I picked up like some extra shifts to like help other people who might have like holidays or events that they want to spend with their family, since I will be taking off on the 25th. The Christmas Eve is my last day. Or maybe it's the day before Christmas Eve. That is Christmas Eve. But December 23rd is my last day. December 24th, I have a spray tan, and the 25th, we fly out. So it's like, all right, we have, my last day. And then like, because I'm no longer doing the yoga teacher classes, my end date was supposed to be January 4th, but because I will be out of town, I've had to have other people pick those up. So I'm trying to help out where possible. If someone picked up a couple of my shifts, being able to pick up theirs, because it's a holiday, everybody wants to have fun. Nobody wants to actually be at work. I feel like during this season, everyone is kind of like, they're busy, but they're not really busy, right? Like Garrett has been kind of like in the main area more, instead of like being on his laptop. It's the season. It's like, okay, it's Q4. All right. And if you're not in sales, like it can be pushed back into the beginning of the year. Right. And so I'm just trying to be as efficient as possible with all of my things, but, it's going to be busy and then it will be chill. And I'm so excited for the chill part. Like I'm really, really ready. I love using the last 2 weeks of December. Not really. Is it 2 weeks? It's more like 5 days. Using the last 6 days, 5 or 6 days of the year to really like ground in my goals, figure out what I want. And, I know that we'll do an episode about like New Year's resolutions and things, because you guys know that's my absolute favorite. But for now, we are just trying to get through the thick of it. But yeah, our Christmas cards, I just made them at Walgreens. A better version of myself would have ordered them from like Shutterfly or Vistaprint or something, but this year I forgot about it, and I know shipping for everything has been delayed a bit. Like I'm still waiting on my suitcases, and it's been multiple days. I'm hoping that they come in soon. I'm starting to stress out. I know that they're going to be here before Christmas, like at the very latest, but I'm still waiting on them. Like I ordered them the 1st and then the 4th, I think. But I'm waiting on them. I can't wait till they come in. Like I am ready to start packing in them. But I know everything is like slowed down because of the holidays. So I'm trying to get these Christmas cards out as soon as possible. I just did 20 prints at Walgreens. I feel like to do extended family or extended friends, I would have needed more time. I would have needed to order from like a Shutterfly or whatever, because now I'm putting stamps on them, trying to get them out in time. And even so, like it's kind of late. Like we don't have that many days until Christmas. Last year we got them out late as well, but it was the first year that we did Christmas cards, and I was really happy about that. It had been a dream of mine since Garrett and I had first started dating, and to have not achieved that or accomplished that in 7 years. Like last year was the first year, kind of annoying. And last year they said happy holidays, because I wanted to cover them all. I was like, okay, this is for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all the things, because we had sent them out late. So this year it does say Merry Christmas on it. But again, they're late. Next year I'll do better. Like I always have the intention of doing better. Like we really did try and sit down a month before to get the dog sat and do it. But when you're working with 2 blue healers who are absolutely psychotic, it just doesn't work out the way that you envision. And like I said, I'm trying to release this sense of everything has to be perfect. Perfection is a great ideal, but if you want to execute, if you actually want to get things done, you have to be okay with just progress and doing a little bit at a time and being okay with that. And I always feel like contradicting when I say something like this, because of course we all want to strive to do our best and we all want to like put forth our best foot, but sometimes all you have is what you have. And if the mental load or your schedule is taking away from the things that you want to be doing, instead I would rather try and do it and it not be perfect, but still be happy that I got it done. Like I still look, our Christmas card from last year, I have it framed and I actually put it out. And I last year was like not super happy with it. I felt like it was a last minute thing. And I pulled it out and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad that I popped this in a frame. I'm glad that we have it. Because I feel like whenever you shoot content or you take photos or you have this envision of your house or whatever, it's not until you can look back at it that you're actually appreciative of it. It's thinking, oh gosh, like that's a great memory, or you're much softer to your body, you're much softer to the situation, and you look at it through a nostalgic lens instead of like, oh my gosh, in the moment it feels so high pressure. It feels like if it's not perfect, it's not good enough. And I have just been trying to separate from the day of to like the days following, and that separation of time always makes me feel better because we can be our largest critic and be like, oh my gosh, like my hand wasn't placed properly, or the dogs look psycho, or like Garrett and I should have been closer, or like the tree was lit, or like I noticed that the pillow in the background is like smushed on the couch, and then I also noticed that our candle's in the frame and the candle really doesn't need to be in the frame. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that the Golden Hour Drip podcast has a monthly newsletter. You'll find podcast updates, upcoming events and information, and bonus content. If you haven't already, click the link in the show notes and join today. Now, back to the show. So it's just annoying things like that. Like it could be better. It's not quite there, but it's what I got to deal with. And that's okay. So I'm just letting it be. The Christmas card is the Christmas card. We will send it out. And I'm sure like the grandparents, the family members, they will love it. And that's all that matters. And next year, maybe I can do, I remember talking about this on the podcast last year about watching it was the best Christmas ever, and it was talking about how they sent out a Christmas card every single year, and it was like this big beautiful thing, and they would like type away about what everybody had accomplished in the last year. I was like, oh, how cool is that? Like I would love to do that. And then this year I'm like literally running around last minute again sending it out. But let's get into my peak of the week. And my peak of the week was the pop-up bars in Kansas City. I went to 2 last week. Oh my gosh, so fun. I feel like it is just like the ambiance, the vibe. I originally went to Deck the District with the gals for our ornament exchange. That was super fun. It was like very low key. What I did like about them is they had a fireplace and a Christmas tree, and it was kind of like retro a little bit, like very 90s themed. So it was super cute to like set and get photos at. Then this past week I went to Society with 2 of my very good friends, Katie and Alexis, and we had a blast. Oh my gosh. One thing I do wish for the pop-up bars, like I love a beverage, right? Like I like thyme, I like marshmallow fluff. Like there's so many cranberries. I feel like that is just a favorite among all the pop-up bars. But what I really wish is they had more mocktail options, like just in general, because I want to try multiple drinks. I love the fanciness of it. And when you are yapping with your gals, like you can only drink so many alcoholic beverages where you're like, okay, like I need a basic ass water, but I really like they need more mocktail options because I want to be able to like have a festive drink and sit there and talk with my friends. Like I am willing to spend the money. Like you like bring the drinks out in front of me. Like I will order multiple, but I don't necessarily want to drink a surplus of alcohol. And that I always find that dilemma when we go out to eat or when we're like with the girls or whatever, and it is limited options, and I don't want to drink like that much soda, like you can order a Coke. Well, some pop-up bars, they don't even have like Coke options, but you can always order a Coke with lime. And then I'm like, okay, like this is a ton of sugar that I am consuming. So it's this like catch-22. Like I want to go out with my friends. I want to enjoy the holiday season. I want to see the lights. I want to be out and about in Kansas City, but I absolutely do not want to be like so alcohol based. And I don't want it to be like sugar based. I just want like festive, good time. I don't even know. Like last year during I did Vlogmas, I had a whole episode where I made like several different mocktails, and I love a mocktail. Like right now I have been on the what pomegranate juice and magnesium cherry drops, so good. I also like the Olipop root beer is my absolute favorite, and then I'll put a little bit of cream in it, which reminds me, the Swig in Blue Springs is like soft, or Lee Summit is soft launching, or having a soft opening. And one of my friends was messaging me this last week, and she's like, they did like a soft little launch, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I went to go so bad, and they had like limited hours. They're trying to like work out all the kinks and things. And even then, like I know it's a soda shop, so it's gonna have like some sort of like sugar based, but it's a really awesome alternative to coffee because again, like I'm trying to limit the amount of caffeine and refined sugar and all the things, but also like you have to live a little bit, and having like a coffee, or I'm sorry, a soda shop where you can go with your friends, not like a 2 p.m. on a Saturday, is so elite. And being able to just like sip on a little fun soda. I love coconut flavoring. I love pineapple. Like I know all of those things aren't necessarily good for you, but it's non-caffeinated and it's not alcoholic. So sometimes I have to like weigh my options. Like if I am not doing the alcohol, if I'm not doing like the what did I just say? I don't know. I try my caffeine, like any sort of caffeine is what I was meaning. Alcohol and caffeine, like if I'm not doing them, then I want to be doing like something fun. And so sugar is like the alternative. Like if I'm not doing caffeine, I'm not doing alcohol, like, okay, a little bit of sugar is not going to be a big deal. But I am really excited to try Swig. I have not yet, but it is on my to-do list if I can fit it all in. I swear, like, this past week, I sat down at my desk and I was like, all right, what do we need to do? And I like wrote every single thing. It has been like, so my pit, let's go to my pit first. My pit of the week has been doom scrolling. I feel like I have been in such like a cycle. Last week I was on my luteal phase, so I was like exhausted. I'm super tired. And I wasn't able to like put forth the amount of energy. So what was I doing instead? I was scrolling on my phone, and it was all nonsense. Like I kept thinking to myself, like, is this even like valuable content to you? Like, is this something that you want to watch? So I decided to delete TikTok for a day. I deleted TikTok, and I told myself, I was like, all right, you need to get like, I had a couple things on my to-do list. I said, you need to get these things done. If you get them done, then you can re-download TikTok. I got them done, and I wasn't going to re-download. I was going to try and give it another day. But of course, Garrett was like, I sent you a video. Like, can you watch it? I was like, oh my gosh. So I re-downloaded TikTok. And one thing that I know, it like warns you before you delete it, but it says it will wipe all of your content, or not your drafts. It will wipe your drafts, but it also says like any of your user data, it will delete. And what that means is your feed. So I feel like my feed, for the most part, was curated for the things that I liked. But after a couple hours of scrolling, like then they start like pushing other content because you've consumed everything like that was originally for you. And now it's like, oh, like what about this? What about this? What about this? And I saw a post, it was like on Instagram. Don't you remember the days where once you got through all of the feeds, it would be like end of feed post, and then you'd like swipe out of the app. I was like, oh my gosh, like I want that again. So when I had deleted it and re-downloaded it, all of my stuff was wiped clean, and I swear, like the first couple of videos were like weird videos, like videos that on my iPad, I have my TikTok for my podcast, and it was like similar content. It was like just weird, like when you first download like random stuff, like stuff you would watch in middle school, just like not curated content at all whatsoever. I was like, perfect. Like, I don't want to watch any of this. And I know that if I just take a little bit of time to like go through the videos, it will like recurate it for me. But this past week, I've just been spending time on the following page of TikTok. If I want to be on TikTok, I will immediately just go toggle over to the following page, and that's actually the content that I'm most interested in anyways. Like, I don't necessarily need to be fed like a whole bunch of new creators or new videos or anything in that realm. Like, I'm following the people I follow because I find them entertaining or inspiring. Like, to me, having a following page on TikTok, especially with the longer vlog content, it's similar to YouTube in my opinion. Like, I feel like I'm watching YouTube. It also has increased my attention span in some regard because I'm not scrolling like so quick. Sometimes you swipe through a video, it's like immediate. So I really like that. So it was a pit turned into a positive. I just felt like I was spending so much time on my phone, and I really didn't have the time to be spending on my phone, right? I also feel like you get into some sort of like hypnotic haze where you are like not thinking about the things that you need to do because your brain is trying to keep up with each video that is being passed by, right? Like, so you're swiping, and yes, your cognitive brain is like recognizing each of the videos, but then it's moving on and it has to recalibrate to the next video. And I feel like when I'm watching the longer vlog, I'm not scrolling as quick, right? Like, this is a person that I'm following for a reason. Instead of my brain making the decision, is this content appropriate? Like, do I want to watch it? Or is this like something that I'm not interested in, right? It's like the do I like or do I not like, and the swipe. In comparison to my following page, I know that I like these people because I follow them. I follow them for a reason. And so if I am, doing the follow thing, then I know that the content is appropriate for me. Like, I want to see this. This is curated for me. And so then I take some time. I will stop. I will watch. And the overconsumption of like a trillion million people in the world, right? Like, if you ever go to your cache, like, in TikTok, it will tell you how many like videos or whatever you watch, like 20 million or something like that. Like, that is absolutely crazy, insane. Also, think of your thumb. Okay, think of your thumb swiping through all of those videos. So for me, I know that there's so much to be doing in this moment, like so much on my calendar, and I know when I start to get busy, if I am not so meticulous with my time, then I get stressed out. That's when I am like running around with a chicken with my head cut off. And if I'm able to prevent that, I'm going to do that a million trillion times over. I cannot wait until Riley gets married in December, right? Like, they are having a wedding on Saturday. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be lovely. I feel like I have had so much mental load on December, and I'm sure she feels the same, right? Like, when you are planning a wedding, it's just so stressful. You like have to worry about all these things. And I feel like for me, since it is such a close family member, I also feel the pressure. We're like needing someone to watch our dogs. So like my brother's house sitting, obviously, and like making sure that they have everything that they need, making sure that our house is picked up and cleaned, and so that my stress levels are not heightened. And I truly think that after this December, I feel like a whole era will have ended, right? Like, with each year, it's like that. And even if it truly like nothing changes in your life, it's just January 1st, like, who cares? I feel energetically it is a whole new chapter. It's a whole new page. And so for me, I'm really trying to get myself on track so that I can prepare for that new year. So this past week, I literally, this is so psychotic. I wrote down each of the days until December 25th because that's the day that we are leaving. I wrote down each of those days. And for each of those days, I wrote down the non-negotiables, what absolutely has to be done. So this can include, like, I have been going to the gym regularly. So like the gym is a non-negotiable. Drinking protein, like, that goes on to the gym category, but like breakfast, right? Like, I'm having my protein. Garrett always makes me potatoes with eggs in the morning. So it's like, all right, like, I have that completed. or which days like I'm going to be podcasting, or which days I am going to be working on like in my where I volunteer or whatever, because they have an event happening on the 13th of December. So let's see. What? No, not the 13th. Yes, the 13th we have an event, but we also have an event happening in January. The 13th, whatever. There's a lot going on. So it's like, okay, am I volunteering for this thing? Do I have to teach a yoga class? Do I have to whatever. Okay? There's so many obligations in regular life, and trying to make sure that's all formatted to a way where I'm not forgetting anything. Also hanging out with friends. Like I have a Golden Gal Network event happening this upcoming week. So it's like, all right, do I have everything ready for that? Outfits, laundry, holy smokes. Like I need to really just like get my closet under control. I feel like I feel like there's a lot of aspects of like my home and like the things, it's still like giving college in a couple areas, and wanting to have the intention of like updating that. And again, like there's so much pressure to like get new things. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about like having to have like a completely new wardrobe, or completely new nutrition plan, or like whatever. There's so many pressures like going into the new year. But like as I'm packing, like feeling comfortable in my clothing, right? Like I'll pull something down and I'm like, man, like I've had this in my closet for a couple years and I actually don't wear it that often. Like it's not something that I'm reaching for. It's not something that I think, oh, like I would look really good or I feel really confident in. I mean, even the sweater I'm wearing today, like it's great to be sitting with, but when I stand up, like it's shrunk a bit in the wash, and so it's like kind of cropped now, and that's really annoying because I feel like um the my back, like above my jeans, like shows, like what is that called? It's not a midriff, it's like your back drift, I don't know. But like your backside, like a little bit of your lower back is showing, like where if you had a little tramp stamp, that's what you would see. So this sweater is great for that. Unfortunately, like I feel a little breeze going by and that's not the look I'm looking for. So even the sweater, like yeah, it's great because I'm sitting down, you can't see my back, okay? But there's so many like little things in my closet where when you're preparing for a trip, I'm like, oh my gosh, like what am I actually going to be wearing? Do I have a coat? Do I have gloves? Because I've been to Chicago one time not thinking, because Missouri was like warm during this time. I forgot gloves and a hat and I had to buy them from a Walgreens, right? But thinking of, okay, what outfit am I going to wear? And that also helps with like overpacking, because I'm not like trying to throw in a trillion million things into my suitcase hoping it all fits. Like I want to be organized. I want to be put together. Like I am 26 years old. I should have my life together. I should be having all the things fit into my suitcase properly. I hate being a slob when I travel. And so like just having those intentions, but to be able to have all the things to pack, like my house needs to be clean. Like it should all be picked up. And so I am just getting really, really granular with each of my days. Let me think of a few more options. Like I am scheduling like my meetings. Like if I have a meeting with someone, like making sure that I put that on my day-to-day calendar, because sometimes I don't prep like the things around the meeting. Like if my meeting is at 12, like when I should be eating, I will just be like, oh, I'll push lunch back or whatever, but I don't think about it. And sometimes like I can skip a meal. And so I really just want to make sure that each of my days is lined out in a way that I'm like, I'm not forgetting anything. Because the closer and closer we get to Christmas, the closer we get to the holidays, like the more frantic I feel like everybody gets, whether it's last minute shopping or baking or cleaning or hosting. Like there is so many things that can really put the pressure on you. And I don't want to feel that way. And so now is the time to be getting your schedule ready for the holidays. If you're hosting, making sure that, and I read this in the Southern Living magazine. I just got it this past week. Oh, so good. But they were talking about priority areas, and I am so, so guilty of this. But when I think of my home being clean, I'm like, okay, the office needs to be cleaned. Like that goes on my to-do list, but the office necessarily like not many people are going into my office. Like nobody's really going to be in my office. I'll just have the curtain closed and like nobody can see in, right? But that goes on my to-do list. And they were talking about if you have like a shortened period of time to focus on the priority areas. So this is like your living room, your dining room, where you would be hosting people, your bathroom, but not necessarily like your primary bedroom. Like if someone is going to be in your bedroom, probably not. And so having areas where if it's too overwhelming or if it's too much to like do it all, then you can like stack it up in that room and deal with that after. So I have been really trying to get in the mentality of not everything has to be done all at once, and some of it can be done like a little bit here, a little bit there, and really prioritizing what actually has to be done instead of everything has to be done. That has been so powerful, and it also makes my to-do list not look so long, right? Because that can also be overwhelming when you write it all down. You're like, okay, I need to do this, and I got to go grocery shopping, and I haven't got gifts for my little brother yet, or my dad, or like all of the things. And then if you are traveling on the holidays, it's also like, oh my gosh, I last minute forgot. I feel like this happens to me every single time I get into the vehicle. Okay, I'm headed to the airport. We've just started our, driving to another state. And I'm like, oh gosh, Garrett, like I forgot something important. It's like, I forgot mom's gift. And so we have to turn around. Or, oh my gosh, like I don't have either leash for the dogs, so we can't walk them to go potty as we're driving 6 to 7 hours, right? So I'm like, oh crap, like we got to turn around, we got to go get that. And over the years, like I've gotten a little bit better about this where I'm not just like leaving it until last minute, but having the list outlining it, especially for like my vlogging or like any of my equipment. Last time I went to Austin, not August. Oh my gosh. Last time I went to Austin, I forgot headphones that plug in corded headphones for the in-flight movie where you can like plug it in to your armrest or like the little screen and you can listen to the movie. I forgot those. And I'm like, you're kidding me. Like my AirPods are not going to connect. You have to have like the actual plugged in. So I wrote that down on my list. I'm like, okay, a section for travel. For travel, I'm writing down need to bring my corded headphones. I need to bring earplugs in case I want to sleep. I need to bring my sleeping mask. I need to bring my snacks on a plane. Oh my gosh. And just like writing them down. Then for my packing list, I'm like, okay, what do I need for my computer bag? I need my charger. I need extra SD cards. If I'm taking photos, I need to bring my tripod. I need to bring like, I have this little suction cup. It's called an air stick. You might have seen this on TikTok. I swear they were all over for a second, but I need to pack that in my bag. Also, this last trip, I could not find my little, it's like a card billfold. It's not very big. It's kind of, it only holds credit cards and then it has a pouch for like maybe some cash. Like it's not very much cash. And that goes perfect in my Lululemon crossbody bag. Well, guess what? I couldn't find it. So then I had my big billfold and that if it's not strapped on me, okay, I am petrified I'm going to lose my driver's license, right? Like whenever you go to the airport, you're like, okay, I have to have my wallet because that's my driver's license. If I don't have my driver's license, then they're not going to let me come back on my flight, right? So I've just been like spiraling is not a good word because I feel like I have taken action behind the spiraling, to help ground me a little bit. Morning routine has been helping with that. I swear this morning, instead of going to the gym, because like I said, I've been routinely going to the gym, I knew that today should be more of a rest day. I haven't taken a rest day fully. I mean, I've gone to the gym and it'd be like a shorter amount of time and it wasn't as hard. Maybe I just like walked on the treadmill and that was good enough, right? But I decided to stay in. I set up my yoga mat, I set up my red light, and I lit my little, oh my gosh, incense is so good. I've grown to absolutely love it. It just sets me in the yoga mood because every time I go to teach a class, I'm like setting incense. Like it's very yoga to me. And it sets the whole vibe. It sets the mood. There are several different scents like lavender and, oh my gosh, like now I can't think of a single one, but my favorite is white sage. I feel like it smells the best. It is so good. I set it up. I set my yoga mat up, and on Spotify, I've like this really nice, easygoing playlist. I started it. I was like, all right, we're going to try and do some sort of flow. I started out with like a sequence, but then I was like, gosh, like I really just feel the need to be still. And so after like I did a sun A salutation, I was like, all right, like this is good enough. I am going to just settle in. And I did more of like restorative postures, where I was holding the posture for like 5 to 8 to 20 breaths, like really, really long, slow. And it gave me a lot of time to think. And I feel like when I have the space to think, I'm able to, like, I always have a notebook right next to it. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to think of this thing. And that truly does help my meditation, because when I can write it down, then I know that I won't forget it. And if I am constantly thinking, oh my gosh, don't forget your headed or your corded headphones. That's something that you should not forget. Or, oh my gosh, like you still need to clean the spare bathroom. Make sure that you wipe it down. Make sure that you clean it before the guests come, right? Like it can repeat in your mind. We have so many thoughts during the day, right? Like thousands of thoughts every single day, but a good portion of those are repeated thoughts. And if you can just like get those thoughts out of your head, write them down, then you can be thinking or focusing on more important things like your work or your project or calling someone or being present. And so as I was on my yoga mat, I was like, okay, I'm just going to write down the things that I need to do. And then I'm going to take my big calendar, which each of the days marking up to the Christmas day. It's kind of like my own advent calendar, but instead of receiving something, it's like tasks that I have to check off. I add them accordingly. I'm like, okay, like I still need to pick up routine groceries like eggs, milk, heavy cream. Like that is something that I'm always picking up from the store. What day can I put that on? Right? And just giving myself the space to not spiral. I'm instead supporting my my days with a checklist and supporting it with my routine, so then it doesn't throw me off balance. So then I am not like crazy running around, because nobody wants to spend the holidays that way. Nobody wants to be so just like stressed out. I feel like we all just want to be present. We want to spend time with our families. We want to have the most happiest, the most joyful time. And if you're getting caught in the weeds of like, oh my gosh, like I got to do all these things, for me, work first, play second. Or if you can incorporate it in a way like even day to day, like today I'm going to get like XYZ done, and then later I can just hang out and chill. And that splits it up of work and play. It doesn't have to be work every single day and then you're waiting for a vacation. Like you can have the play a little bit every single day. And I've just found like breaking up my to-do list in like the days leading up, or having a to-do list or a checklist, has just been really, really grounding and has allowed me to focus on other things that are more fun and that I want to spend more time thinking about, right? Like watching Christmas movies with Garrett, or baking sugar cookies. Like I love sugar cookies when they come first out of the oven, but after that, not so good. But like I like homemade sugar cookies. I don't like sugar cookies from a mix. And so I need the time to actually like sit down and make the gingerbread cookies, the sugar cookies. I was then leading up to gingerbread house making, which I will be going to my friend's house this week. And she's hosting us to make gingerbread houses, which this year I'm not hardly hosting anything at my own home, because for one, I'm not scatterbrained, so I don't want to like align myself with that. But because I am being so strategic and my time, I know that will be overwhelming if I place any more on my plate. So this season, I'm like not inviting anybody over, and that's very sad. I cannot wait until summertime because I will be having people over at the house, right? But so I'll be baking gingerbread. Well, not baking gingerbread. I'll be setting up gingerbread houses. But I wouldn't have the space or the time to do that if I didn't take care of the things that were actually needing to be done first. So it's all an ebb and flow. I cannot honestly, like, I know that this is going to be the most joyful season. I cannot wait to experience all the things that are in store for me. But there's a part of me, it's like, okay, like once we get over this hump, like I will be able to breathe a little bit. I will be able to just be so present, not worry about all sorts of like crazy things, but instead we'll just be able to enjoy time with Garrett's family, enjoy time with my family, and then also enjoy time together as like our family with my dogs, my husband, chilling out, rocking around the Christmas tree, and all the things. So I am looking forward to this upcoming week because I feel so structured, and that does help. And it helps that my house is clean. So thank you so much to past Logan for spending part of her weekend just like cleaning things up. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, know that you are not alone. We are all in this together. Thank you so much for listening or watching wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.